Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation Show. It's Wednesday, Memorial Week, and this is a good one. It's a pseudo reunion for Devil X-Ray. This is Devil 3-4 November coming at you. This time not in Ramadi, this time not in Fort Riley, but right now in beautiful God's country, Clarksville, Tennessee. But I have 2 great brothers here with me today. I'm going to bring them right in because there's no need to delay these 2. I'm bringing Natem Stonic and Bernie Summa right into the show. Welcome, Nate. Welcome, Bernie. How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going, Rich? Thanks for having me.
Bernie, you got me on mute.
Mr. Bernie went there. Like I said, old men in technology.
He's on that mute button.
He's he's special, that one. Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, brother. How's Florida treating you?
It depends. It just, every 5 minutes is something different down here. I just had to wrangle two horses out of my front yard. Two horses got loose, so that's
Yeah,
Florida. And it's a gated community. Don't know where they came from. No idea. Just couple random horses. That's
that's how.
Florida.
Tell the audience a little about you, Nate, a little about your service, how you came to Devil X-Ray, and what you did after.
Well, back in 2004, I was given a wonderful opportunity of being assigned to HAC First Brigade, First Infantry Division. You guys had already been deployed at that time for a couple months when I got there, so well, I stayed on rear detachment for probably 6 or 8 weeks before I was like, the first sergeant came to me one day and he was like, "Listen, this is what's up. You can either stay here and sweep a motor pool, or if you want, I'll ship you over to the guys." And I was like, "I did not join the army to sweep motor pools, First Sergeant." I was like, "Please, I should have already been gone. You should have already sent me." So I believe he promoted me on the spot, even though the paperwork didn't come in for a while. If I recall, I didn't even know I was promoted until you found it out once I got over to Iraq. So, yeah, I don't think I was HAC originally. Well, yeah, I was. I didn't know what job I was going to be. I didn't know what section I was going to be in. When I first got there, but I made the stupid mistake of putting 40 rounds to the size of a nickel dead center mass on a paper target, Sergeant Tolberg's target range, and so they were like, "Oh, hey, we're going to send you to brigade headquarters." Awesome.
That's a great initiation right there to come into
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. You guys came and picked me up out of Baghdad. I sat in Baghdad for like 2 weeks, and uh, you guys came and picked me up. I think it was Sergeant James. Yeah,
Yeah, James, he was the driver.
Sergeant James. I remember Sergeant him. Yeah, and Martin too. Martin was there.
It was me, Martin, and
My
James. We rode into Bro Humvee on the way back after he got hit on the way there.
Yeah.
We bought all
38. Oh, 38.
yes.
I remember. I can't remember. I believe I remember the truck number. So it's crazy.
I think
And
Bernie's
where's he at? He's trying to come in. He's trying really hard. There he is. The sum of all fears.
still not there. He's still on mute.
Yep, he's still. We got to see his face for a second. Oh, there he is again. Okay.
So after you left us, you went and became a corrections guy, right?
I did. Yeah, I became a 31 Echo, and I was a prison guard at Fort Leavenworth for 2 years. My last 2 years, I was in charge of grounds and maintenance. I had about 10 inmates under me and 4 or 5 soldiers, and we would go around the base and keep the graveyards cut and the golf course looking nice on Leavenworth, so and keep the officers' houses looking decent.
Of course.
So that's actually how I met General Petraeus. He was the one that so I got my combat action badge with you guys. You put it in for me.
Right.
And then but that wasn't a thing until a couple years after we got back. So General Petraeus actually wound up being the one to pin that on me. Before that was post scandal.
Yeah.
But no, he was a really, really good guy. General Petraeus is honest. He was our post commander at Leavenworth at the time. And I remember one morning I went running and I've been running on this track for 4 miles. And at one point, like after my first lap that I was running, this guy runs up to me. And he's wearing like all black, nothing distinguishing. I thought he was just some civilian, and he was like, "Hey, you mind if I run with you?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." He's like, "I like your pace. You got a good pace." I was like, "Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm pretty quick." So we ran the whole thing, and then when I was done, I walked into the gym, and my sergeant was like, "So how'd you like meeting General Petraeus?" I said, "What?" Who? Yeah, you didn't know you were running with the post commander the whole time, soldier? Nope, did not. I did. It was dark, it was really dark. He's wearing all black, and you would have never saw it. He was just that kind of guy. He was a soldier's officer for sure.
He definitely was. I met him in 2010-11 in Kandahar, Afghanistan, when he was commander over there, and he'd come every time. every time we had a bad week or so, he'd come down and try to motivate troops again, which was often. Pretty much every other week we had a bad week there. Just like with
Yeah.
Big Red 1, I think we lost 35 within the brigade, and Big Red 1, when I was with the 101st, when he'd come down to see us, we lost, within our brigade, we lost 66, over 100 with the 101st during that year. So it was pretty kinetic
Yeah,
year
and then
for us.
the Marines came in and lost that many in what, a month?
Oh, yeah. Because they fight a different way, I like to say.
Definitely did.
A different style of fighting.
It was for sure.
So since it's just me and you right now, I'm going to throw on the Cloud video right now. Let him
Yeah,
jump.
let's see, Davey. This is about Sergeant Martin, right?
This is David Cloud. We used to call him Dirty Cloud.
Dirty Cloud.
Lenny D Block. He was
Lenny
good.
D-Block.
Great
Lenny
soldier.
D.
Here he goes.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there. However, we're here to honor the memory of Staff Sergeant Martin and share our stories and you know, laugh about the good times and you know. So I want to share a story about Sergeant Martin that always makes me laugh and you know, helps me remember just the good times. For you that were there, you guys know about the sheep. You do practical jokes to keep the mood light, and Sergeant Martin was quite the jokester at times. You know, he could be serious when needed, and just do some of the things that would just make you laugh. And you know, so you know, there is a photo. However, the whereabouts are unknown. But Sergeant Martin slipped into the shower, and young PFC Cloud at the time took the opportunity to get his inflatable sheep and let's just say caress and borrow Sergeant Martin's rack at the time. If the photo's out there, I would love to share it with you. And if Sergeant LaMonica gets the opportunity to get a hands on it, maybe he's able to share it, and it would bring the story more to light. But you know, man, the one thing that just makes me happy still to this day is his laugh. He had this monstrous laugh that would just, you know, unique. You just knew it was him. I was a young man that was just didn't know any other way than my raising, which was a tough raising with no father in the house and no mother. So the Army provided that with me through Sergeant Martin at the time, and his leadership, Staff Sergeant LaMonica's leadership, Sergeant First Class Summa, you know, men that guided me as a young man into being a man that I am now that I'm as old as they were when we were in there. So, you know, I miss him greatly, and he'll always be cherished for me. I tried to provide some things that he provided to me to my son now, and you know, only way I know how to honor his memory is to, you know, live for him, and you know. All right. Well, without blabbing on, and you know, I'll keep this short and sweet. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And we were winning when we left Summa. So, duty first.
That was a pretty good one from Cloud right there.
It's pretty good there, Dave.
Yeah.
That
Thank
was
you for sharing that with us.
yeah. Yeah, there's a million stories we could tell about Sergeant Martin, but
Yes. That's-
oh yeah, like the peeps eating contest. That was okay, so since we're here to talk about Sergeant Martin, you gotta there's a few things you gotta understand about this man. First of all, I think people need to know. So Sergeant Martin was when people say that a person is larger than life, it's very rare that they actually mean it, like mean it like in the way that this guy was. He really truly was one in a million. Like you're never gonna meet another person like him. He was taller than me, and I'm 6'3". So he had to have been at least what 6'4", 5, and bald headed, and had the most deep voice. He talked just like this. Hey Marty, what are we gonna do, man? Come on, man. Like it was like just a really I don't know. He's impersonable, really, and the biggest cut up jokester, prankster. Like there, he was like Tucker. He was like, who is that dude? From they also Tucker Max. That's who he kind of reminds me of. His personality, he had one of those not like him, exactly like him, but on that level, like on that level of you know what I'm trying to say. Like you'll just never meet another person like him in your whole life. But like on Easter Sunday 2004, we had somebody that had sent us, what was his name, that guy that used to send us all those care packages?
Rick Hart.
Rick Hart. Yeah, Rick Hart. And God, like I could ever forget Rick Hart's name. But Rick Hart used to send us these packages, care packages, big giant huge boxes of stuff, like every week, every 2 weeks, just awesome stuff, just full of snack foods and junk food, movies, and just whatever we wanted. If there was anything, anybody had a special request, he would make sure that we got it. When we got back, he gave us these really awesome plaques of a picture that we had taken, which I'm sure you showed a few times probably. And it's so he had sent us about 1 million peeps, marshmallow peeps. So of course nobody likes marshmallow peeps. I don't know why, but except for freaking Martin liked them for some reason. And so on Easter Sunday, he got the bright idea that we were gonna celebrate Easter by having a peeps eating contest. And that was I think one of the first times that I ever went into like a sugar coma. But it was to see who could eat the most peeps in 2 minutes without nothing, no drinks, no drink of water, none of that, just straight stuffing freaking marshmallow chickens in your mouth, bunnies in your mouth. And I would like to say that it came down to me and Martin, and he fought a good fight, but your boy got it. I reckon I got it on that one. That's the only thing I ever beat him at. It's the only thing I could ever beat him at. I couldn't beat him at anything. He could beat me even in the sprint somehow. But
He didn't like losing and tried his hardest not to lose at everything.
that's for sure.
Not
He had to make everything a competition or everything a game. He had to make everything entertaining in some way whatsoever. That was just the way he lived his life. It was like just like, okay, so after months or whatever, you guys got a computer lab in there, like a pretty well, not a computer. We had a couple of plywood benches with computers on them that we called our computer lab. That we'd go in there and you had to turn in your ID in order to get on one of these computers to use it. So, and oftentimes people of every rank would forget their IDs at that desk and walk away. So Sergeant Martin had a game, and he loved to play this game. It's like, I don't know, you just don't know where he would come up with the time to do these things, but he did it. He would go and steal these people's ID, and then he would take them on a little journey. And he would post a picture of this ID in ridiculous places, and or take a picture. He would take a picture of this ID in ridiculous, and like I remember he took a piece of tape and dropped it all the way down inside one of the porta-johns to where you could just like half the ID was submerged in the blue. And you could only see the face, and took a picture of it, and it was like you're sitting on a turd, or I don't know. But he put them in a few other places too that I'm not gonna say on your podcast because I don't know. One day children might watch this. I don't know. But yeah, he did some pretty lewd things with those ID cards. And then to make it all better, every morning before a battle update brief in the TOC, the TOC, we had PowerPoint presentations. And that person usually would have no idea what had happened to their ID, but they would always be invited to these PowerPoints. And she would throw all 20 pictures. He would start a PowerPoint of the journey of such and such's ID card. And then boom, put them on the PowerPoint for everybody to see, all 20 pictures. He's just standing there, bah, ha, ha, click, bah, ha, ha. That one was awesome. That one was really good. Those were always super funny. But it's still good.
Light we needed, and the darkness there. He was always that light that we had there.
Yes, he was.
Every mission. Bernie has some good stories of him too, I know.
Oh, and this is after we got back and I redeployed. Okay, so we got back in, what was it, 2004?
Yep.
I went to Germany and redeployed in 2005. And we landed in Kuwait. and the airstrip was pitch black dark. You could not see your hand in front of your face. And there was several flights coming in and several individuals unloading from different planes. And I hear this, Master Sergeant. I was like, that's Martin. Master Sergeant, come here. And he came running up to me and gave me a big old hug. He was redeploying with the 101st.
Yeah.
And he picked me out in the dark and recognized me. He said, I would know that walk anywhere. I was like, well, I didn't know I had that unique of a walk for you.
Well,
Marty.
you're also a ginger, so you're kind of like a candle, right, in the dark.
It was pitch black dark. You couldn't see not see the person in front of you, but he picked me out in the dark. He called me during that tour, and it was right after he got back when he was wounded. He got wounded. He got shot in the hand, and I don't know, the arm. And he was telling me the stories. And I said, so how many guys did you get? And he just said, a lot of guys dropped their AK-47s on that day. But I think he said he was on the 50 cal. And then, I was in Germany when he died, and I will forever regret not knowing, because I was just an hour away from him in Germany. And I'd sure like to have known that, he was in Longstool Hospital. But that's it's just one of those things. But the very funniest thing, and I won't go into all the details. Remember the cat?
You usually can't with him.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You remember the cat?
Yes.
So I come to work one morning, and the cat has a tail and everything else is shaved, but he's free little face. and Martin has scratches all over. And I looked at Martin and was like, who shaved the cat? And he just got that grin. He's got a big old dip in. Well, I won't say what he said, but it was pretty comical. But yeah, he shaved the cat. I'll never forget that. The convoy out, the things he did when guys moving out, we all know what he did. He would lift your spirits in the darkest of times. He really would. I've said over and over many times, I said, if you ever wanted someone in your foxhole with you, it would have been Martin. Without it, he was a true warrior, a true killer, and a leader. He's the type of guy you don't want to see him get promoted above staff sergeant because he was too good of a sergeant,
Yeah, exactly.
When you're NCO, leader of troops, get stuff done, whether it be right or wrong. But he could have went all the way. He could have went all the way. He was just one of those guys that would, irreplaceable guy. He really is.
Yeah, he was a totally different person between the man that he was when we were deployed and when we got back. You really saw the family man side of him. Like, God, he just loved his wife and kids. He loved them so much, and he was a really, really good dad.
Yes, he was. 100% a
Just
great.
just amazing. Amazing father. I mean, and it just is so strange. It was not strange, but it was really awesome to see that part of him. And I remember, he used to talk about his passion was music. He had he was a DJ back, I guess, when he was younger. I remember he showed me a picture when he had long hair. Believe it or not, he used to have long hair. But he had all of his walls in his bedroom were like nothing but CDs. But I was gonna say real quick that you remember the camel spider.
I don't-
Camel spider.
Yeah.
And Surgeon Colonel Buck Connor. I got to tell this story. So I caught a camel spider. It was over in the combo section there at S4. Anyway, and Sergeant Martin I caught it in like a Tupperware container, and Sergeant Martin got the idea. He's like, "Listen, let's fill this thing up with rubbing alcohol, and just see if we can kill it, but like preserve it. Not squash it." He's like, "I want to take this thing home with me." He said, "I want to take it home." He's like, "People are gonna believe this. I'm gonna sneak it home." He's like, "Come on, we're gonna." Look, he pours and fills the Tupperware container full of rubbing alcohol all the way to the top when we put the lid on it, and that was in there for like an hour. Like that thing was in there for a long time, and it was a big camel spider. I don't know if you guys, for your viewers, the people that haven't saw these things are huge, and they look like they're a cross between a camel and a spider. And they kill, or not a camel, I'm sorry, a scorpion and a spider. And they kill scorpions. They kill a camel and a spider. Well, that'd be something. I like to see that. Anyway, a scorpion and a spider. And they kill scorpions. And they got they're ugly. I mean, they're mean looking too. And they'll scare just about anybody. And Colonel Buck Connors was a huge man. Now, he was even bigger than Sergeant Martin. Colonel Connor was just a huge man. I don't know. He was about as tall as Abraham Lincoln. It kind of looked like him in a way.
6'7".
6'7", yeah, just a big, just huge. I mean, if anybody could have been more alpha than Sergeant Martin, it probably would have been Colonel. That dude was just like the most alpha of all alphas, and Sergeant Martin's like, "Hey, let's put this spider," because had stopped moving totally. We took it out. I mean, I'm talking, this thing is that big around. No, I'm not kidding. And we put it. He's like, "Let's put it on the desk, so when he comes in for the battle update brief, he'll see it." He's like, "Maybe he'll think it's cool." He's like, "We'll see if we can." He wanted to see if he could scare him. He's like, "I'm gonna get this dude. He'd been trying to play tricks on Colonel Connor the whole time we were there. Colonel Connor just wasn't falling for him. So he didn't really think him ever. So he didn't really have what's called a sense of humor.
Yes.
So he puts the spider right on the desk, and about halfway through, like 30 minutes through the battle update brief, the spider. Sergeant Martin and I are looking at it, and he's still laughing about it. And all of a sudden, it starts doing this. And I'm like, "Sergeant Martin, look. He looks at it. He's like, "What?" It's like, it's moving. We're whispering because the meeting's going on. He's like, "It ain't moving." He's like, "That thing's dead." I was like, "Look, he goes like this. He's like, "Ho, ho, 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 ho." And right at the time he goes, "Ho, ho, ho," the thing jumps up off the table like this. And Colonel Connor grabs his K-bar, rips it out, and bam, stabs it through the table. And he says, "The next time you guys pull any like this, I'm going to come in here and make Hitler look like Mickey Mouse." And he pulls his knife out of the table and the spider and just wipes it off and leaves.
Wow.
So just walked out of the meeting, just walked out of the whole battle update brief, just totally walked out.
So Rich, what became of Martin's family? I mean, he had a wife and kids. Whatever became of all of them?
I know they stayed here in the greater Clarksville area. They bought the house from his platoon leader. They bought the house from him shortly after he passed. His son, of course, was born just before he passed. and his daughter graduated at West Creek High School here a couple years ago. She was in ROTC and all that stuff. And after she graduated, it's like the last link I had because she would always post on Facebook. But she kind of disappeared as well. I think they're still here. I know she had like a hairstyling business here as well. So I'm not sure if she stayed here or they actually moved back to Ohio after.
Yeah, I talk to them every few years or so. So last
Congratulations.
time I talked to her, she was doing pretty well.
I've seen her a couple times at stores here, but she wouldn't talk to me. So I wouldn't bother her. I'd just go about my business.
It's too bad. Well, he was really, I always referred to him a Van Diesel lookalike.
Yes.
I mean, his actions, I mean, he was just the mini-me of Van Diesel. I mean, he was just, I remember, I was a schools NCO, and we got back, and he was an E5, and he hadn't been to BNOC yet. And, of course, I told him, get your stuff straight. Somebody will fail out. Somebody will do something. And I put him at the top of the list. And of course, Division saw what I did and said you wasn't supposed to do that. And I was like, hey, this guy's ready to go. So I got him a BNOC slot pretty quick because I'd done anything for old John Martin. He was a good guy. And some of the stuff, I was very ingenuitive when it came to corrective training. I did some.
Let's not talk about the corrective
Let me tell you, Marty.
Listen, I got the brunt of that. I was the lowest ranking. Let's not talk about the corrective training.
Real.
I've still got nightmares from it. So let's just not talk about that. Yep.
What he did was with King when he had him
Oh,
the big red one out of rocks and sandbags. The picture, we all took the picture. Then he had the soldiers go up and destroy it right in front of him. So that was the best I've seen him do.
That was awful. But hey, that made for a really good picture that we will cherish for the rest of our lives. I mean, it did.
He was the type of guy that would do anything for you or to you. It didn't really matter.
Yeah. There's definitely some of those stories I could tell, like the time that I so-called left my rifle in the chow hall, and I didn't. David Cloud, who we just got to see, stole it from me. And took it to Martin and told him that I left it in the chow hall. So I got to Martin made me this is after smoking me for about an hour and a half, and he had these really awesome things that he called Smurf jacks. There was like a jumping jack, but you had to look like you were a Smurf. You had to be really small and do little bitty jumping jacks. And they suck really, really bad. But then he had me low crawl up and down the berm, the perimeter of the entire, base that had rebar. It was just the whole, everything that could be pushed flat and then, stacked up, piled up around the outside with a bulldozer. So it had rebar and concrete and glass and whatever in it. And he made me low crawl up and down it, which for those of you that don't know is with your face on the ground. Low crawling across concrete, and I'm standing up and I'm covered in blood and dirt and mud and stuff, and walking back to the shower, and Sergeant Major's like, what happened to you? I'm like, corrective training, Sergeant Major. I'm gonna kill Martin.
Rich, do you remember the showers we had before we had showers, those little crappy trailers? And there was a story of one of the new privates, and it might have been Cloud. I don't remember who it was. But he walked up in there, and of course it was always crowded, and the water was always cold. And I think he ripped the shower curtain out and said, there's room for two in there. Room for two in here. And the young private just about freaked out. Here's this naked Sergeant Martin wanting to get in the little teeny tiny shower with him, saying there's room for two in here. That was pretty funny situation.
Yeah.
I think that was Cloud, though. I don't know for sure.
I think that was pre-Cloud, actually. I think it was
Cloud.
That's why Kazakhstanis would still use the shower with us, and he always wanted to catch one of them in there, and he got that private instead.
Oh my God! Remember the things that he did to Abernathy and Wheeler. Oh my God, those King definitely got the worst. I was glad that those guys were there because I was a mess up just because I was young. They were mess ups because they were idiots, and he made them. He reminded them of it every single day. So even in the Army, folks, we've got losers, believe it or not.
So do they still do a memorial for him? I know his sister used to do a lot of stuff for him up where he was from. Does she still do that?
I haven't heard from her in a while. I know she's on the
Can't get
TikTok now.
over her either.
On there.
Heather disappeared. Yeah, it was her name, Heather.
His unit actually deactivated, so they took down his memorial that was inside the building. I'm not sure if they gave it to the family or not. But I go to his actual marble memorial in Bastones area, the 1st Brigade, 101st.
We need to make this reunion happen for real. And I know we were thinking about Kansas, but maybe Ohio would be, because have you guys seen? He has a beautiful headstone.
I've been there.
Yeah, I saw it
I'm
too.
gonna pop on Sergeant Hart's video for him here too.
Yeah, Donovan.
Yeah.
I'm here to pay tribute to my fallen brother, Staff Sergeant John Martin. I had the pleasure of meeting Sergeant Martin in 2004. Prior to that, I bounced around a lot. I was kind of the FNG. From one guard unit to the next guard unit, went active duty, met the unit in Iraq. Like in any other situation in that unit, I kind of draw, anyone that's ever been an FNG, you draw the short end of the stick everywhere you go. The situation presented itself. They needed someone up at headquarters, and of course I was voluntold. And honestly, that was one of the best things that could have happened. I treasure the fact that I was sent up to headquarters, because then I had the opportunity to meet Sergeant First Class LaMonica, Sergeant Martin, the rest of the team. And right away I knew I was in for something special. This team, Gauman, Cloud, Stonic, they emulated their NCOs, and they loved sharing stories of Sergeant Martin. Everything from, I believe there was an ice cream sandwich eating competition, milk chugging competition, and who could ever forget the banana hammock of Ramadi? I guess we would call it that. His team, they respected him, they emulated him, they never wanted to disappoint him, and I think that speaks volumes to who Sergeant Martin was as a leader. Former Marine, always brought that Marine Corps tenacity. He knew he was green, now he was in the Army, but he loved to share those Marine Corps stories, and it leads me to one of my favorite memories of Sergeant Martin, which is running the tank trails. And anyone that's ever ran with Sergeant Martin knows this man can run for days. He never liked to lose, he never liked to fall behind, and he always liked to lead from the front and be out front. And this particular day, Stonic, myself, and him were kind of keeping stride for stride, and it was a good run. And we were trying to keep up. It was just kind of an unsustainable pace. Every time we think we'd kind of edge him or get in front of him, it's like he'd find another gear. And we find ourselves just like I said, running at this unsustainable pace, laughing, joking, talking shit, And then all of a sudden, like, we just kind of come crashing down, and this, like, all three of us are rolling on top of each other in the dirt, and we're snotting and laughing and damn near vomiting on each other, and I just remember Sergeant Martin saying that was a good run. And it was a good run. And I think about that run still to this day when I run. He was a great leader. He set the standards, and we all wanted to be like him, and I will always remember him in that way. So a hero remembered never dies. So Staff Sergeant John Martin, and my other brothers, Specialist Christopher Hill, Sergeant Joe Dunnigan, Sergeant Chris Ramirez, Master Sergeant Jared Van Alst, Specialist Rob Nichols, Sergeant Stephen Smith, Corporal Gunnar Zwilling, Sergeant First Class Ronald Grider, Aaron, and Lieutenant Jonah Russell. I thank you. I love you. And until we meet again.
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
It was really good.
Hey, there's his.
You did that pretty well. I listened to it. I listened to most of it the other day when he sent it in. I thought it was really good. And I remember him running with you guys and trying to kill you every time I went for a run.
Yeah.
You want to kill me? No, I know I'm good. We go play football. Even when we played football with First Sergeant Sticka, I want to be against Sticka because I think I can beat him. And then First Sergeant Sticka, there was a linebacker at USC, went to the pros, got hurt, came in the Army, and just wanted to take out his football love on us. And it would never go well for any of us with him. And Martin was also one of them it didn't go well with. So it was always good to see that competitive side.
Martin is the reason why I was able to, when I got to military police school, I was running 2 miles in 10 minutes and 52 seconds. And that was after I had ran until I had tore my hamstring. Like that man makes you run. That made you run. But he's also the reason I had the heart to get up and cross the finish line after tearing my hamstring, because I was more afraid of what he would do to me if I didn't, or what he would think of me if I didn't. Yeah. If I wouldn't have got up and kept going, I would have never, you know what I'm saying? I could just hear him in my head, get up. He was that kind of like.
And laughing at you at the same time.
Donovan, I really appreciate that video, man. That really brought tears to my eyes. I really miss you, and I miss you as well. I miss both of you, but hopefully we'll get to see each other again soon. I really appreciate that video, Donovan. Thank you.
No. We just had a reunion for the first unit I was ever in 165th MI out of Darmstadt, Germany, back in '88 was my first unit, and we sat around and tell stories. And there are no stories of what Hart just said of all the names of the guys he worked with that died. I mean, how lucky we were to have served in units, and that didn't happen. And I was in that unit when Saddam invaded Kuwait, and I would have been a PFC at that time. And so the generations that carried on because of that action is just, it's just mind-boggling of the number of guys affected, and Martin's one of them. And of that war and that decision, and our nation's decisions to do what they did, it's just mind-boggling what soldiers have gone through.
It really pisses me off because we were lied to. I feel like we were lied to as a nation by the administration that we served under.
It wasn't our job to worry about politics.
We were there to
be there for you, be there for you.
I always say we were there to do the Lord's work.
That's right. God's work.
I guess it's all about intent.
Yeah. Our job was to come home together, and we did pretty well as a platoon, as a section to come home together. We lost a few after. Sergeant Martin lost Reinhardt. I'm not sure who else we lost. I'm sure we have lost others as well. Those two I know we lost both those, definitely. We lost contact with many of them. Even with this age of social media, we've lost contact with many of them. I'm going to bring in Jimmy Weisner now, who was with Marty in the unit when this occurred. So we'll see what his video says here about Marty.
About Staff Sergeant John Martin. I met John in 2005. We were getting ready for one of the deployments from 101st. Every day we were fellow staff sergeants in 2 different platoons in the same troop. His positive attitude on a lot of the things that we did, even when things got harder, not just the handling of the mission, training of the soldiers, and whatever task that came from higher. Having someone like John definitely made things interesting, and it was able to have that fellow NCO and friend to be able to do the tasks that we have to. the word or the phrase "embrace the suck" definitely come to mind. When whatever task that came down, he made it fun. He was able to get his soldiers to understand the why. Sometimes some of the things and the crazy stuff that come down the pipe, but he was the kind of guy that left a mark in everybody that crossed his path. He's dearly missed. Funny stories, oh John, I can go for a long time. Definitely at top of my head, fun jokes in the DFAC, food challenges, competitions, definitely some fun wrestling with the commander, radio talks. They were keeping spirits up, and we can do many more of those. But thank you to be able to speak about John. Definitely, he is not forgotten. Thank you for being able to honor him. Thank you, Rich, for this opportunity to be able to speak about John and be able to definitely honor his memory. I was able to share times within the service and even when we were back within the Clarksville area, seeing his interaction with his family, his kids, and how he was in uniform and off uniform is someone that led by example. And like I said before, he definitely left a mark in all of us that have crossed paths with John. So we miss you, brother. We'll see you again. Until then, we will honor your memory, and thank you.
It's strange. He still was doing food challenges when he got to his next unit.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking the same thing.
Boy, I would have loved to add him in the unit I went to after I left the Big Red One. He would have been inspirational there. They needed a good Martin.
Yeah. Every unit
Wrestling
needs
the
a good
commander,
Martin.
too. Wrestling the commander, that's another thing. He wrestled that field artillery dude, the fister, the giant monster fister guy. It was like he wanted to hug everyone. And
Didn't he jump on? He jumped on stage with Brett Michaels, right?
Yep, he was on stage with Brett Michaels. Did air guitar on his 203.
Yeah.
What was the Fister's guy's name?
I can't remember. I know he passed away just recently.
Yeah, he was in a car wreck.
Car wreck, yeah. In Junction City.
In Junction City. Yes.
The person crossed the line and crashed into
Littleton? No. I can't remember.
I just remember he was like this big hugger, loved to hug everyone and make you feel
He still did that in the civilian world. Schaefer said he would hug everybody.
It would make you feel so uncomfortable around him. Like it was a prison hug. It wasn't. I remember the picture that's on the graphic I sent. That was the Christmas picture the Christmas present we gave Sergeant Major Jones. He came back from his meeting and saw, and everyone was sitting there naked, basically with just the elf hat on. And he came in, and there's Marty and Michaels standing there, sitting there, and I forget who was on the other side. It was probably James and someone else in there getting yelled at by him. What the hell is this? What are you doing? That picture was amazing. I saw that still over here.
Do you remember him replacing the light bulb in the talk? And the sergeant major was harping on him, but that's not how you're supposed to do it.
How you're supposed to do it?
That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Yanks his pants.
That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Turned around and said, "Is this how you're supposed to do it, Sergeant Major?" Yeah, he was comical. He was comical. But I would have loved to seen Martin in the today or last year's Army. The way he was and what
he
has
could have
happened.
Been in Hollywood. He could have been in Hollywood.
Gosh.
He could have been in Hollywood. I mean, he could have been a professional actor. Like
he would have been Private Martin.
Professional comedian. He could have been a professional comedian. Definitely a professional comedian. Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah.
And Hart brought up the milk contest. I'll never forget that one. I forget who was the final contestant was against him, but he was so dead set on winning. he had us bring him in the 5-gallon bucket to sit
Yep.
on so he can take a crap while drinking the milk so he wouldn't lose.
Yes.
So crap right in the top.
I thought that
Banana
I thought that was with the ice cream.
That was the milk
Nice.
when he took crap.
What was the banana hammock or the hammock thing Hart mentioned?
I
Banana
forget.
hammock.
Yeah, he had the yellow underwear I remember he used to walk around with.
The banana hammock of Ramadi.
That's classic.
And then remember we got the pool. Martin had to throw everybody in the pool.
Everybody.
Everybody had to get baptized.
Yeah. Everyone that came.
Yeah. And when we say everybody, we mean that he was picking up officers and not just any officers, like the leading, the head of the brigade, the entire, like the brigade command. He picked up Major Leonard, Marty Leonard. He picked up Major Leonard and threw him in the pool.
We had the pool. We had a little volleyball area. So, we in a building they were supposed to build for us. So, good.
Yeah, that was never
That a
finished.
crappy building.
Yes.
It was just
The wall.
cinder blocks and paint.
Yeah. And that was
Cinder blocks stacked on top of each other with no mortar. And just paint. That was an awful building.
I remember when Cloud had a meltdown. He was in the plans van outside, and he was was like catatonic almost. And he was standing there, and Martin was just going off on him, trying to get him to talk. And it just lasted like the whole night shift to get him to try to talk, and he would not back down, yelling at him to get him to try to talk. And the whole time, Cloud just stood there like just staring at him, like, "What is going on? I don't even know what's wrong with me now. What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Cloud, you have till tonight to tell us what's wrong. I don't have all day to listen to him yell at you, but that was the best yelling I've ever heard in my life. Thank you." I walked away.
Oh boy, he did some corrective training. Boy, but that's what troops need. I mean, they will remember him for the rest of their lives. They'll remember.
Yeah, hate and love for sure. Yep.
Young himself on a convoy without telling anybody. That was another corrective training he did very well. I won't say the young soldier's name, but there's wheels on trucks.
Who did that?
Say again?
Who went on a convoy without permission? Was it the king?
Wheeler. It was Wheeler.
Wheeler. Okay. Had a girlfriend or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said he had a girlfriend and like
His name, but it was wheels on trucks. He was trying not to say his name.
Yeah.
In case he ever sees it. You know what? That dude sucked anyway. I don't care if he ever sees this.
We all have our
yeah, convoys without permission. Yeah. There were a few of those.
Yeah.
They brought back little. They look like remember the little milk cartons.
Yeah. Milk cartons and disease. You come back with nice diseases.
Yeah, those. Oh my God.
Yeah, even when we got back,
I think we're talking about too much here. I think we're talking about too much.
We did the Thanksgiving bowl. We had football down in the bowl, and we drove around with a keg in the car from Martin's house from a party. And we took it to my house. I had a keg at the house, the same keg. And then you wound up in the barracks, Bernie.
Who won the keg? Who won the $200 that night?
That I don't remember.
With the keg stand challenge, 21 seconds, Superman. That was your boy right here. That was me. Yep. 21 seconds up. Martin would hold us inverted upside down. Martin was holding my feet up above my head while you guys had the keg in my mouth. The hose. 21 seconds at your house. And I won $200. It was for a tiebreaker. Martin made us all do a keg stand because we all had bets on who was going to win the game, the football game for Thanksgiving. Yeah, the Thanksgiving football game. We all took money. Yeah, we all took bets on it.
Yeah, that was
and it was a tie. We had a tie, so we had to break the tie with a keg stand, obviously.
So, does the unit you said he was in is deactivated?
Right.
And there is a memorial there in the Bastogne Remembrance area.
Yeah, it's there's a whole division remembrance area. So it goes, the first one is strike, and then Bastogne is the second one. So I go where my soldier Michael Beckerman, he died, so his name's on the bench. So I go to see him, and then I skirt around and go to Bastogne to see Marty's. He's on the wall there, right underneath his soldier, Specialist Franklin.
Okay, because there was 2 guys killed in that strike.
Yeah, Franklin was killed immediately. He was blown out of the vehicle. Depends on who you talk to, how far he got blown away.
Yeah.
He got blown up and out of the vehicle, and Marty got blown to the side. And they thought he was gone there because he was in and out of consciousness. And that's when he said, "Don't let me die in this shithole."
Nope.
When he came out of consciousness, into consciousness, they threw that blanket on him and got him out of there.
That's unreal. So, but I assume Fort Campbell themselves have like a memorial there on Memorial Day or Veterans Day for the guys that have fallen in the 101st.
Yes, they do it for every year. And
of course, yeah.
At the end of this month, in June, they'll have the Week of the Eagles, and each regiment will do their own thing at the memorials for all their fallen soldiers.
It's just a sad deal. Sad deal.
Especially as big as and how good as he was for him, for soldiers, and his family. Most importantly, his family.
Did you
I
think
didn't find out about it for 6 months. It was, David Cloud told me on online, on a messenger online.
He died doing what he loved doing, though, I believe.
I know.
I believe so too.
And I don't think he would have wanted
He
to
would
go
have
out
had it any other way. Yeah.
Even
maybe maybe a little bit less painful, but yeah, he wouldn't have wanted
year
to
before,
go
when
any
you
other
see
way.
him Bernie coming out, he got wounded. He was in the Bradley and broke his hand. They didn't want him to go back. They sent him all the way back here, back to Campbell. They bandaged up, and then he fought to come back.
Yeah, he got shot in the hand and came back to join his platoon. Yeah. And he came back as a staff sergeant.
Yep.
Platoon sergeant. They made him. He was a platoon sergeant. Yeah. Which means that if he was in a Bradley, means that he was the Bradley commander. That. So.
Yeah, they were.
He was in a Bradley. I thought he was in a Humvee.
He was in a Bradley
when
he broke his hand and stuff. That was Bradley.
When he got his
second tour in 07 when we lost him, he was in a Humvee.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it double stacked IED or triple stacked IED?
Yeah, shape charge IED. Yeah.
Shape charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
His first tour over there with the 101st, the 101st doesn't have Bradleys, so when they got there, that's when they were given Bradleys. Since they were scouts, they were supposed to they were doing with them. There you go. You get your cab, you get Bradleys. I'm sure he was happy. He hated being mounted.
Oh, he loved being a scout. He loves the scout deal. He wanted it to be RT so bad.
Yep.
He wanted to be a scout.
Yeah, he loved it. And of course, I was a tanker, so that was his number one. That's our number one rival. So he constantly gave me crap about it.
We're coming up on our hour here, guys.
Yes,
I'm gonna let you start. Actually, Nate, you start off and give your final thoughts on Marty real quick.
They're just, I mean, in your entire life, you're going to meet one or two people that are really going to make an impression on you, that are really going to make a stamp on your heart. And usually one of those person is probably going to be like your spouse, your husband or your wife, depending, and the other one is going to be the best friend you've ever had. And for me, that person was definitely Jonathon L. Martin. And what he has meant to me and what he will always mean to me is something that I really can't put into words. It's not something that you can really, it's just, what can you say when you say it? I love him like I was family, and I know that he loved me. And that's, what I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that I was able to be a part of this man's life. And I'm really proud that he was a part of mine. And I'll never forget him for as long as I live. And if even if anything else that I ever did for the entire Army never makes any sense, it won't matter, because I got to know him. And as much as it hurts to lose him, to have lost him. He's the reason why we're here right now today. He just brought us all together again from across 50 different, across the entire nation. He's brought us all back together, and 20 something odd years later, we're back together and we're still talking about him. And if that doesn't say enough about the man, then nothing else will. So he brought me back to my brothers today, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Martin. Thank you. Like, and I know he's here. Like, if it's possible for somebody to be here from the other side, he's here right now, and I know that's the truth. And I love him with all my heart. I love you guys with all my heart, and I'll never forget any of you. Starting LaMonica, starting Summa, you guys were awesome leaders, and you were the best I ever had. I appreciate it. You guys mean everything. You guys are my family, and I hope that we get to see each other again in person one day, hopefully really soon. I love y'all, and it's an honor being here. Thank you.
Bernie?
When I think of a non-commissioned officer, I think of John Martin. I mean, I cannot emphasize he is the go-to sergeant. He gets it done. He gets shit done. It doesn't matter. It's going to be right. You give him a task. It's going to be spot on. It's going to be done to standard. He might cut 10 corners. I don't care. He got it done. Yeah. And he ensured soldiers were taken care of. They were disciplined. I mean, we have the Audie Murphys of the world and all that, but nobody could touch Martin, in my opinion. He was really good. I mean, and I take part of what he did and said with me, even when I was at E7 or E8 and on to my other units. He was just that good of a guy. And I hope that there are individuals, and I'm certain there are, that take a little piece of Martin and that are still in the military and doing what he did. I mean, I just can't speak highly enough of what a great NCO he was, and a human being, very religious, always at church on Sunday. You guys used to go to mass every Sunday, wasn't it? Or was it Saturday or Sunday? And he was true to his values. He was a true person, took care of his family. He was a man. Yeah. He was a man. We all sat around talking about we're grown men. He was man.
Yes.
He was.
He was a throwback NCO, like from when we first came in. He's that type of NCO that from when we first came in, that was in our face and doing stuff, and he was still that way when we were coming up in mid-career towards the tail end of our career when we met him. And he was that guy. He never changed, and he was the same way in the 101st. If you talk to the soldiers that he was with here, they'll tell you the same stories that we just said, as Jimmy said as well in his video. When I went up there to meet his sister, meet his mom, sat outside, drinking beer, and then I went back to my hotel. I had my beers. I was drinking them. I go sitting on the bed, drinking, watching TV, and all of a sudden the toilet flushes. I said, that motherfucker is in this room. Keep hanging out with me, going to the bathroom.
I've always said, when we get to the pearly gates, that sucker's going to be standing there at the pearly gates with his pants down around his ankles, laughing at us.
And on that, boys, this has been great. I can't wait till we get together in person, whether it's in Kansas or in another place. We can go right there on Bernie's farm. Bernie has a lot of land there. We can hang out there.
You bet.
He has a great location right there, dead center of the United States. We can hang out there. All of us come in, drive, fly, whatever we got to do to get there, and just hang out. And go to again and laugh.
That'd be awesome. That would be really awesome.
Thank you for doing this, Rich.
No problem. Anytime you guys need something, you want to come back on, let me know. I'll make it happen.
Okay.
All right, Misfit Nation, thank you for hanging out tonight. As we always tell you, day tomorrow with you is better than a day without you. Do not go about things and make that final decision. Reach out to us. Our emails are in there. Our phone number is always on our website. Reach out to any one of us, myself, Steven, Jake, Cagney, Lacey, whatever you want to call them. Reach out to us. We will answer that phone, and we'll make sure you're with us tomorrow. Until next time, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.